Hey there.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
I cannot complain. I'm okay.
I have been watching your Instagram stories from LA with all your space and your sun, and I'm in New York.
Is the weather bad? Has it been cold there in New York?
It's been nice. I can't complain, but I feel like there's all these memes about like New York quarantine versus LA quarantine, and you guys
Yeah.
have the best life. So I'm just here in my little apartment, like I gotta get, but it's
Well,
fine.
I will tell you, I will not complain. I'm not complaining about the sun. Definitely some good time being spent with the fam that I am extremely lucky to be spending with them. It's been forever since I've had this type of time. So I've embraced it, made the best out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna. So we've been doing this series checking in with some of our favorite people in the Oprah universe. So tell us a little bit for anyone who doesn't know the quarantine situation and how have you and the family been, staying busy and spending time together during this.
First things first, I think I've gotten taller, so let's address that. Since quarantine, I'm definitely 5'5". I've definitely cracked 5'5" since quarantine. No, I think our days are pretty consistent. I wake up in the morning, go to the gym. After going to the gym, spend time with my little one. Then I'm on the computer all day, Zooming, having virtual meetings with staff, studios, etc. Just trying to figure out our moves for after dinner, lunch with the fam. I think it's a system now that we've fallen into. Doing what I'm told. I got a pregnant wife in here, so I don't want to piss her off. So I'm making sure that I make her happy and keep her in good spirits, and kind of giving my kids the assist that they need when it comes to the homeschooling, just being available, being present, and trying to be in a good thinking space. Trying to write, create, do as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, I know, you lift so many people's spirits on social media and through your comedy and now with your upcoming project, which we'll talk a little bit about. But aside from your kids and your family, what's been lifting your spirits right now? Are you watching anything or is there any books that you've been reading that has helped you to get through this time?
You know what? I'm really focused on this me versus me kick that I'm on right now. Yes, there's some TV, a couple shows that we locked into. I know Ozark, that was an amazing show. We watched that. I watched Top Boy. We got into that pretty heavy. I think it's called Farah, something like that. I forgot. There's another show. It's another Netflix show that we got into. So I try not to go too heavy though with the TV. I don't want to consume too much of my time. So the me versus me kick that I've been on is trying to surpass where I was, where I am, and that's just from a health and wellness standpoint, but also from a creative standpoint, trying to make sure that I'm checking as many boxes as I possibly can. So I've been doing a lot of writing, trying to figure out what the next version of a TV show is, trying to figure out what the next movie that I can be a part of the producing side as well as the acting side, trying to figure out this next version of stand-up, what it will be, trying to think about life after pandemic and, the best way to address and approach it. So, to be a creative person, you got to be in a creative space. So you try to maximize your potential in doing that. And that's what I've done over the several weeks that we've had.
Yeah, and I think it was almost probably like a year ago now that you were in an accident. I know that you've been recovering this past year. So how are you doing? Do you feel like you're getting back to almost at 100%?
Yeah, I'm pretty close. That's another thing with the me versus me attitude. I think where I was before the accident, I was in great shape, really taking care of myself. But to get into that accident, be blessed enough to still be here and be a husband and father and friend to so many, I think that I owe myself a service to try to surpass that version. I can do better. So, that's the kick that I've been on. So I'm probably at like 98%. I'll call it 110 when I feel like it's 110. But by the summer, I should be able to reach my fitness goals, and then we'll see what happens after.
You're just like a motivational nugget a minute, like every in your new book. Tell us about, well, I love that in the beginning of the audiobook you explain you're like it's not really a book but it is an audiobook. So tell us a little bit about what the decision is and what motivated you to release it during this time.
You know what it is? It's basically it's information. You know, I feel like in today's time, the one thing that people don't do enough of is sharing information. You know, we don't, we don't volunteer it. You know, there has to be an ask for there to be a tell. And when you think about it, that's the one thing that really stands in the way of success. You know, people have the ability to be successful, but some people just don't know the road to take or what to do when they get there. So the decision is taking responsibility for you, your actions, your movements, and your decisions. It's you can make a right or left, you can go straight, you can make U-turn, you can go over the bridge, under the bridge. It's ultimately you. So what I wanted to do was be transparent with my life, my journey to where I am now, and give you all of the decisions that had to take place in doing it. And what you realize is that it's okay to fall. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not get it right. It's okay. The thing about making mistakes is embracing it, but being willing to grow from it. And if you are that person and you are willing to grow from it, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be better off in the long run. If you're not that person, it means that you haven't yet developed the ability to check yourself. It's not till you can look at you and address the things wrong with you that you can fix you. So it's just about me discussing how I got to that place in life, and you know how I whipped myself into mental shape to deal with all that I've dealt with, and to eventually surpass and you know embrace those things rather than look at them and I guess you can say kind of just wallow in the pity of what can't change.
One thing one thing I've been thinking a lot about lately, especially now that we're on social media and everyone's going in. I saw that you called out one of the quotes you have in the book. I think it's something like, "We're living in the most talking time in human history."
Absolutely.
One of the things I wonder is, you know, now that we're so in this like cancel culture on social media, and how do you think that we can have more grace and forgiveness for other people in addition to ourselves?
I think that right now, I mean, I think you got to get to a point where you just become more realistic, right? And what I mean by being realistic is it's back to what I just said. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to be. This whole idea of a cancel culture means that you're living in a time where we're just expecting perfection, as if, you know, people don't slip and fall down the steps, or if everybody walks straight all the time. You stumble, you trip over things you don't see. Sometimes you turn around and go a direction that you didn't think would lead you on a path that it seemed to do. It's weird to really hold people at a level that they never asked to be held at. You gotta learn. You gotta learn to act accordingly. You gotta learn to carry yourself, you know, in a professional manner and respectful manner. And that's things that's discovered within life. You know, if babies came out with all the knowledge, then what's the point of going from age 1 through 21? You get to 21 and there's a celebration about you now being an adult because you spent those years being a kid doing the things that a kid's supposed to do. So you can't hold me accountable for my kid and childish behavior. At 21, when I'm now an adult, well, from 21 to 30, I was a young adult. So I didn't know what life was going to be like as an old adult. So I messed up as a young adult. You can't be, you know, we can't be so persistent with the search and find and destroy. Although some things are warranted and I understand, it's just us as people getting smart enough to go, you know what? Whatever has happened, but people deserve an opportunity to move on. You know, life isn't over because people say it is. Yeah. That's not how life works. And that's kind of what's been happening as of late. It's almost as if people determine when your end button is been pushed. That's not how it works. It's never been the lay of the land or the way of the land. So we need to lose that attitude and that feeling and let people grow. Plain and simple.
That's real. And I think that gets lost a lot on social media. So I hope everybody in the comments is listening, because that's
social media. And I mean, I talk about this in one of my chapters, in the decision. It's social media has mentally warped people, right? It's mentally warped people into feeling like that's what the world is saying. You got to understand, when you read comments and you develop this level of insecurity, is based off of the thought or feelings of 10 to 30 to 100 or 200 people. Let's call it 1,000 people if you're somebody out there with a lot of followers. I mean, you know, I'm probably at 170 to 80 million followers complete all over social media. So my comments range in that 20, 30,000 range all over. 30,000 people are a blimp of what the world is. That's an inkling. So when you're talking about 50 or 100 negative things that you've let affect you, you're now mentally warped. You're walking outside with a feeling of what other people are thinking that aren't even worried about you, because you predetermined this. You've put it in your head that this is what the world is saying. Look, and it's not true. It's not real. It doesn't exist. So if you are on social media, embrace it for the good and not the bad. There's advantages to it and there's disadvantages to it. You're living in a negative time where people love to talk, people love to be negative. But guess what? They also love to be positive. But we only talk about the negative. And as people, you got to ask yourself that. Why? Why are we only speaking about what's bad? There was a black man in Atlanta who did an amazing gesture of paying off student loans for the class of such and such, right? It was a conversation for about a day and a half. But then later on, blogs put up a story about said individual cheating with said individual and what? And it was the biggest story for weeks, because we choose to embrace the negative. There's tons of positive that can replace it. As people, you got to make the decision to say what gets your feedback and your energy and your time. If you're giving a negative your time, ultimately, you are influenced and enhancing negative behavior, which will then become your behavior. It's a chain of events. So it's not as if I'm saying things that are profound and as if I'm a prophet. I'm saying what we all know. This is very simplistic information. But because of my personality, because of where I am in life, I choose to deliver the message in a way that nobody else has or probably can. So that's what my Audible original, The Decision, is about. It's this type of information. Self-check. I can't continue to blame other people for mine. And that's what other people enjoy doing. We enjoy in blaming others.
Yep.
I didn't do that because of this. I would have did it, but such and such didn't tell me. Nobody woke me up. That's why I overslept. Nobody told me that we was going to do this again. It's always somebody else.
Yep. Yeah. That's real. And I think that like a lot of messages in your book, it's going to be the type of thing where somebody might listen now and a lot of what you say won't hit them until later, or there will be certain pieces that stay with them now. But, you know, it's all when you're ready to receive it, and not everyone's always going to be ready to receive the message.
And
but
the good news about it is, you know, when I say, you know, this is a book for you, I mean that. Yeah. By that, I mean, this isn't a do what I do book. This isn't a live like me. This is how you have to do it, else it's not going to work. That's not what this is about. This is me giving you a different lens to look through. This is me giving you a different POV. And you can then take that POV and you can assess it and you can see if it's something that may work for you or may not. But at least you have the information. Yeah. And what I see in people is it's such a bad thing because they think it's a cool thing to withhold. Something as small as sneakers. You can see a person with a pair of sneakers on that you've never seen. Hey man, where'd you get those sneakers? So many people go, yeah. I'm telling you.
So real.
You gotta figure that out on your own. Because they want to be the only one with the sneakers. Why? What happens if more people have the sneakers? What does that do to you in your moment with the sneakers? So that sneaker analogy is one that can be associated with business on the highest level. Hey man, how did you get vending machines? I would love to know how. You got to figure it out. Why can't you just tell me and help me so I can try to achieve some type of success as well? Information can be a secret. It shouldn't be a secret.
That's so dope. That's true. A lot of it is ego. I think it's just, you know, it's fear and ego, and that you know, there's not enough room for all of us at the top, or if you do well, I'm not going to do well. So I think that's real. Before I let you go, how are you guys preparing for baby number 4?
Number 4. Jesus.
Tell us what's your mindset right now? How are you preparing to
I'm excited, first and foremost. You know, I mean, another baby is unreal. I had no idea that I would be a family of 6, you know, when I was a little kid coming out of North Philadelphia. This is not a dynamic that I was raised in. It's not something that, you know, was sought after because my parents weren't together. It was just me and my brother was in the Army and I was home and it was just us. So it's not like I come from a major, big family and a big household. So to be creating that and changing the direction of the last name Hart and have my kids have the opportunity to associate family with memories of being together, you know, brothers and sisters, mom, dad, stepmom. There's so many things that go into it, but ultimately it's together. So if I can do a great job in keeping this unit and putting water on it so that it grows, then everything that I've done thus far and what I've worked hard to have will mean something because that last name lives on. So I want these generations to last, and I want to leave them something in return.
legacy?
That's it,
Well,
legacy.
to leave our followers with one last positive thing, what's the last thing that made you laugh?
Last thing that makes me laugh? Man, that's not fair. That's every day. Kenzo, man. My son's newest thing is, what's up, man? What we into? That's his newest thing. So he hears me on the phone. So what we getting into? I say a lot. Hey, what we getting into today? Give me a rundown of my day. Like it's constantly, I'm always saying what we get into. So his thing is, what's up, man? What we into? And it just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. That little boy makes me laugh so much.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.